Hello, it's Kermit the Frog here, and I remember it so you don't have to. Yay! That's right, this is a movie review channel now, goddammit. A Gonzo credit card? Be sure to like, subscribe, and check out my Letterboxd Top 4. That's right, we're doing the Muppet movies one by one, or at least until I run out of tapes. So let's take it back to the Muppet cinematic beginning with 1979's The Muppet Movie. This is one I admittedly had only ever seen parts here and there in passing, and as a kid, even though I knew the Muppets had a long legacy behind them, it was always kinda surreal to see just how far back they existed, especially in film. You know, it's one thing to see black and white television clips of Kermit, but something about seeing a celebratory Muppet movie from the late 70s really strikes it home. That means they built up to this, and damn did it pay off. It's a beautiful buddy road trip musical comedy about how the Muppets all met, with it opening with the Muppets themselves screening the movie in the surprisingly meta setup.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the first screening of the Muppet Movie. But before we begin, I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to this film, starting with the little people from the hairdressers to special effects.
Like, damn, when I was a youngin', I thought SpongeBob the movie was the one that invented that shit. Both actually have quite a bit in common in terms of their types of humor and energy, to the point where this feels like the blueprint in many respects. This whole film in general feels like this nice masterclass in achieving balance. There's tonal balance between the chaotic humor and actual moments of sincerity, the stakes being clear and treated with actual danger while also leaving room for levity and for the characters to have fun. It feels grandiose in many respects, what you expect from a television series venturing into the world of film, but it also retains this nice personal scale to the story. The production value here is also them at the top of their game. This movie is just filled with these gorgeous shots that you wouldn't expect from a movie with puppet frogs, pigs, and whatevers.
Gonzo! What are you doing? About 7 knots!
It's like every facet of this production was treated with respect and love for the art, whether that be the art of film or puppetry. The movie opens with Kermit in his swamp singing Rainbow Connection, probably the most integral and well-known piece from the soundtrack. Not only is it a beautiful sequence, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, hey, what cinematic sorcery is this? How did they puppeteer Kermit here? It's not like they had the dude underwater, you're kidding. Yeah, for these opening scenes, they threw Jim Henson in a big underwater meat tube with a CRT monitor. That's right, gamers, almost no input lag. That's just incredible dedication to the craft, all in the effort of making Kermit and these characters feel alive. Could you imagine messing up or flubbing your lines just knowing you're hurting the underwater frog god and his dwindling supply of oxygen? The very next scene is another how they done it, with these shots of Kermit riding a bike. I can only imagine audiences in '79 must have screamed with the ferocity of Captain America picking up Thor's hammer at the sight of Kermit's little frog legs.
That's pretty dangerous, building a road in the middle of the street. I mean, if frogs couldn't hop, I'd be gone with the Schwinn.
Speaking of which, frog legs are the driving force behind the movie's villain, Duck Hopper, who wants Kermit to be the face of his fried frog leg franchise, chasing him and the Muppets down across country as they try to reach Hollywood for their big break. It's so cute to see the Muppets all meet for the first time, whether it's Gonzo and his weird chicken fetish, or Fozzie bombing harder than Kramer at the Laugh Factory, forming these instant timeless connections.
Shut up! 50 years ago they had you upside down with a fucking fork up your ass!
And of course, you have the love at first sight relationship between Kermit and Miss Piggy. And I gotta say, it's nice to see their relationship actually feel reciprocal? Maybe it's just decades of watching the Muppets in so many different forms of media, but as a passive enjoyer over the years, I feel like most instances their love seemed kind of one-sided to me, but in truth, she's just aggressive. Yeah, that's right, my chick bad.
That does it!
Honestly, it was once we got to these scenes with Miss Piggy, that's when it really started to feel surreal, just how timeless the humor and gags felt. There's very little here, surprisingly, that feels dated. And sure, things like meta humor, for example, might be considered played out now, but to have a scene where the characters read the screenplay in the middle of a movie in 1979 must have felt groundbreaking.
This is a narrative of very heavy-duty proportions. Cosmic, man!
And it's still funny to this day because it's played so nonchalantly and not in an obnoxious malicious or insincere way. Like, the characters, these situations, and their struggles are all still treated with importance when they need to be. The balance and restraint and sincerity this movie manages to show is something I feel is severely lacking in today's film landscape. What I'm saying is more people need to be watching the Muppet Movie right now, more than ever.
Boy, you could get lost in a sky like that.
Man, I love this Kingdom Hearts shit. You have sweet moments like this, and then you have things like Miss Piggy going ham on the big screen for the first time that's probably just every bit as hilarious as it was 45 years ago. Towards the end of the film, the Muppets have their final standoff with Doc Hopper, but not before meeting Dr. Honeydew and Beaker, who show off their Instagrow pills.
Yeah, man, well, what else do these pills make big?
Oh, they work on anything, but the effect is sadly temporary.
Even this little Viagra joke ends up turning into one of the sickest shots ever put to celluloid film. Peak cinema.
It's the Muppets as you've never seen them before.
Hey, everybody, on to Hollywood!
With stars Charles Durning, Austin Pendleton, special guest stars Edgar Bergen, Milton Berle, Mel Brooks, James Coburn, Tom DeLuise, Elliot Gould, Bob Hope, Madeline Kahn, Carol Kane, Cloris Leachman, Steve Martin, Richard Pryor, Telly Savalas, and Paul Williams.
If anything is going to age this movie, it's the cameos. I'm sorry, I don't know who some of these people are, and if I did, I'd probably be in a nursing home right now watching reruns of Columbo while sitting in my own boom boom, but I was pleasantly surprised at the ones I did recognize. Richard Pryor, Steve Martin, Mel Brooks, they're all hilarious and they absolutely kill it.
We take your friend, the little F-O-R-G, put him in the chair, clamp on the terminals, drop the electronic yarmulke, and throw what we call in German, the switch!
Independent of who they are and if you recognize them, these characters are still funny in work. They don't feel like cheap bit parts. And that all leads to the ultimate cameo, when the Muppets finally reach Hollywood. Have you ever wanted to know how the Muppets got their big break? They poison the secretary and walk right into the big exec office and meet Orson fucking Welles.
It's Tracy. Prepare the standard rich and famous contract for Kermit the Frog and Company.
Now you may be thinking that this moment right here where the Muppets literally meet Citizen Kane is where they truly elevated into the realm of prestigious cinema, but I'd argue it's quite the opposite, my friend. This is the moment Orson Welles, in the final years of his life, accomplished the feat of acting alongside the Muppets, thus truly solidifying him as an all-time master. After you meet the Muppets, what little there must be to teach you. The ending itself with the Rainbow Connection reprise in celebration of the entire journey they went through together is so genuinely sweet, yet still manages to package it with these funny moments without undermining it all. It's a quality all too precious and rare these days. Even little running gags and setups to a punchline you know are coming, when they come, they do hit. Like the entire movie, we see Sweetums, you know, the big furry one, trying to catch up with the Muppet gang and go to Hollywood with them.
Hey, wait for me! I want to go to Hollywood!
You knew he was gonna catch up with them at some point in the movie. I never expected him to tear through the screen at the end. That killed me.
I just knew I'd catch up with you guys!
Muppet Movie 1979. What a good-ass movie, high art cinema. They put Jim Henson in an underwater meat tube with a Smash Brothers. What more can I say?